Manufacturing high odds, low impact stands is the major name of the game when it comes to what we're doing out here, managing our habitat for deer hunting. Now, afternoon, evening sits are relatively easy to come up with that low impact because we've got a pretty darn good idea where the deer are going to be when we're heading in the stand. If we're doing it right, they're going to be back in their bedding areas. Okay, that means we can walk through those food sources. Now that deer aren't using their transition zones that much yet at that time of day when we're slipping in the afternoons. Okay, and we can generally slip out through the timber because by the time it's dark, we're hoping that the majority of the deer have passed us and they're out on the food sources now. Mornings are tough. Mornings are very difficult by comparison. And manufacturing those low impact, high odds AM stands, that needs to be done right up front. That needs to be factored into your overall plan because they're not going to happen by accident. So really study your property. Look at those areas where, I've got that bedding site that's pretty darn close to the road. All I've got to do is jump off the road, pop up into the woods 100 yards, and man, I'm hunting just like I'm hunting in the very middle of our property. Now, look for those types of setups where you can slip in off the road, through the timber 100 yards, and you're up in the tree. Now, and you happen to have yourself an AM place where you can set up an ambush for a very, very high odds sit. Especially during the rut, those doe bedding areas that are set up like that are awesome. Many times you can't get bucks to bed where you want them to. Oftentimes you have much more flexibility when it comes to does. They're more interested in convenience than they are safety. They're not going to ignore safety concerns, but we're keeping our ground safe. So we can go ahead, we can move that doe bedding area closer to a low impact access and departure route. Really, really study your properties. Try to find those low impact morning setups. What you really need to do is you need to put in thought. You need to study your ground before you start making improvements. When you're making that initial plan, how can I manufacture low impact, high odds AM sits? Where are the locations that I can go ahead and make it so they're bedding in an area where I can slip in easy, or they're transitioning through an area that I can slip in easy? A prime example of this, one of the best low impact AM setups you can make are those pinch points between the crops and that nasty erosion cut that goes down the side of that high ground. When that erosion cut is so steep that those deer can't naturally cross it, you know what? They're going to either have to cross down at the bottom of that erosion cut, or they're going to wrap the top between the tip of that erosion cut and the edge of the field that they don't want to walk out into. I just got done describing, to start with, the AM doe bedding area situations. Look at your access and look at, okay, how can I go ahead and make a doe bedding area in an area that I can slip up nice and easy for peak rut. So I'm hunting just like I'm hunting in the middle of the property, but I'm barely in there. The more you study that ground, look for those areas where, I've got a major food source here. I'm not going to stop them from going to this major food source no matter what I do. It's this great big soybean, corn, and alfalfa series of fields. But is there a way I can backdoor into there in the morning and then go ahead and create a nice little kill plot so that I can backdoor in and get out without them ever knowing you're there? AMs are by far the most challenging low impact, high odds stand setups we can have. The more work we put into it, the more thought we put into it up front, we can manufacture those high odds, low impact AM setups. And we do that, we're effectively hunting our property without the deer knowing we're even there.
Growing Big is brought to you by Wildlife Research Center, the gold standard. Reconyx, see what you've been missing. Antler King, bigger bucks, healthier deer. The Heater Bodysuit, you stay warm or your money back. Furminator, the best food plot implement on earth. Redneck Blinds, the best hunting blinds on the planet. Chestnut Hill Nursery and Orchards, and foodplotsfordeer.com, planning your habitat improvements and improving your hunting.
The whole name of the management game is to manufacture high odds, low impact stands. Afternoons are comparatively easy. Mornings are a challenge. But if you put some serious thought into it up front, figure out where you can set those doe bedding areas so you can hunt a few of them with very, very low impact during the rut. Try to find those natural pinch points, such as that low spot in a really, really washed out gully, that they're crossing, where they can't cross easily on either side of it. Look at that erosion cut. When you got your crops up high, and you've got an erosion cut coming up towards the crops that's too tough to cross, and you got that nice little pinch point right in there. It's like you're hunting smack dab in the middle of the timber, but you're barely 20 yards, 30 yards, 40 yards in the woods. When that erosion cut crossing, they can cross those cuts at different locations, blockade them. The point is put thought into how you're going to hunt these properties in the morning. Design it so that you can have high odds, low impact AM setups. They very rarely occur naturally, but man, if you can manufacture them, you are so much farther ahead in the game.